Hola, como está? Today is October the 14th, Monday, October 14th, year of our Lord 2024. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day from Malcolm and myself.
Oh, happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you, friend. All right. Malcolm, speaking of Indigenous Day, you know what? I had to explain this to somebody who was not American. I said, what'd you say? It's like, well, why did you change the name of it? I was like, because that's like me coming into your living room and saying, this is mine. you can't discover some place that people already live. Like, sorry, you can't do it. So, as a country, we became more sensitive to the people that were already here, that we slap on Indian preserves and stuff like that. And we treat them poorly and badly. So I said, let's give them this day back. Because saying Columbus Day is like, oh, we are rewarding your bad behavior.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was originally. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We became somewhere around getting Juneteenth. Became, kind of sensitive to Indian people. Indian people like, what? We didn't give this shit up willingly. They drugged us and raped our people and gave us diseases that we did not normally have. They killed off half the population. Discovering things. It was fan-fucking-tastic. Anyway, on to better things. Welcome, my friend. How are you today?
I'm okay. I was a little late, getting everything uploaded. I was working on the podcast last night, so I did get it out, but I was up late working on it, and so I woke up late.
Today we're gonna have a show that's 60 minutes, America. Just 60 minutes because Malcolm is tired. Yeah. No, we have what's going on, Red? What's going on, sir? We have welcome to Indigenous People Day. Definitely, it's a welcome situation because we're just that was one of my top stories we'll be talking about, the transition. Of course, we'll be talking about the evolution of polls. We'll be talking about. I have a topic that's going to kind of get into your lane that I just it was brought up to my attention online. And so if those who don't know, on certain streaming platforms, my screen name is Romantic because I consider myself I wouldn't use like hopeless romantic, but definitely romantic. You know what I mean? I'm too old to be hopeless anything. I like to think, whatever. But the person says, my man John says, is romance dead? Is on life support? What's wrong with men? Because we talk about things all the time. We talk about this, that, from sneakers and hats, and I want to know what you think about that. And I'm not going to take too much of your time with that.
No, it's fine.
The question, like when we switch over from all the shit that happened this weekend, nothing really happened this weekend, so I'm going to forfeit a lot of time to you. It's the same shit, but anyhow, so that's what the people want to know. They want to know, what's good. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some polls, I guess. I don't know. Polls are back.
Yeah. This is maybe one of the first times that the polls actually matter, and they are not necessarily the way that we would like them to be. I don't think they necessarily are bad. They're just even,
So what I think this is I was listening to that. I think this is the disinformation of the storm poll. I think it's that poll. It's around that time. It's they're not helping. And I think next week's polls will be a lot better, and we can stop freaking out because next week's polls will be.
I was going to say, I don't know if you've heard some of the fallout from that disinformation, were that workers in North Carolina were having to evacuate because the FBI notified them that militia groups were patrolling the area that they were supposed to be helping.
Yes, and that's why they call them the National Guard.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. This is what lunatics will get you. So, and I am not tired, but I'll be glad when this 23 days is over.
Yeah.
I am kind of at my wit's end. So let's get on to it so we can get on to happier things that trigger me. Yeah, because I'm just not. I mean, first of all, I want to start off. Remember the statement of former First Lady Michelle Obama: "When you see a bad poll, do something. When you hear information that you don't like, do something. It's no, you don't fall because it's not bad. You know what I mean? She's still in a better position than he is. So
Right.
here is the thing, party people: you have to get up and go vote. We cannot, and the money and the volunteerism and all these things denotes that people will vote. But, and I, Malcolm, again, I think
Mm.
this is because, and I'm bringing this up first because people always come to me. I have to be happy, shiny. Greg, I'm scared, so I have to, be the father figure here and to listen. Just relax. Talk to a friend who is on the fence about voting. And so with black people,
Yeah.
it's not I'm going to vote for Trump. It's I'm not going to vote at all. And when you say that, we must understand when you say I'm not going to vote at all, that says I'm going to vote for Trump because the
Right.
less turnout we have to not fill up that void, the more it goes for him. So I think, and in this time, like in 20, I think the silent majority is on the side of the Democrats. I think. Uh,
And
go
I
ahead.
would even make it this point that even if you, God forbid, if Trump wins or if you have a Republican administration, on the state or local level, the fact that you didn't vote plays into how they formulate their strategies, right? Like they can tell how many people within a certain area vote, and they formulate their legislation and their policies based on who votes.
Yep.
The fact that you don't vote means that the policies that they craft, the rules that they make for you that you have to live by, don't include you, don't include your interests. Like even when you do count, they may go against your interest. I'm not saying that.
Right. And so the fact when you don't, that's double.
It's just even worse.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is, it's like I'm gonna make it worse so it can get better.
So
Make that shit make sense. Like I'm gonna make it worse so it can get better. Okay.
yeah, and then
That's
they got down into because NBC came out with a national poll. And you know what I think? I think they do this to trigger us. I think they say, "Oh my God, it's looking terrible. We're gonna go out here and do something." I do. I think that's where we are as a nation. But they were.
Yeah, I don't think that people make up polls, but I think it's kind of like when the information is there, like it makes for a much more juicier headline. Let's just put it this way: it wouldn't be a top level headline if it were just like, oh, it's still the same. It makes for a juicier headline. But the fact is, just as much as they want juicier headlines, they don't want to be, so far
Right.
outside of the field that people just ignore what they're saying as well.
Yeah.
And like, news organizations still get held to account, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I should say. No. Quite
So,
fortunately, we do.
in case you were under well, hopefully we're not under rocks at this point. Hopefully we're paying attention to what the candidates are saying. We are at the portion of the program where Donald Yump likes to scare the white people.
Yeah, it is.
It's dark. It's dystopian. It's I'm going to So I ask you who believe this: where are the caravans of the killers? Where is the wall? Where is all the cats and dogs in Springfield are accounted for? Where is all of this dark stuff? It's gonna America fall into a hole. Last thing I know, last time I checked, we have the best economy in the world. We have the best, and we seem to have this Trump amnesia. Listen, I had people that died during COVID, and if you're a black person, I know you did too. And and even if you're not a black person, dear Appalachia, dear white people, you had people that died. You seen the long lines of toilet paper. You cannot wipe your ass as well. We must not forget this. We must not. And I think yesterday she started. So yesterday, and I love the iterations of how she does things. So yesterday she started looking at the camera. She says, hey, you're talking about me. I'm the vice president. Nigga, you was the president. You went down to Puerto Rico and you threw paper towels at people.
Yeah.
You let us have shortages of things. You told us to drink bleach.
Right.
Yeah, you that motherfucker. And so remember that. And dear black man, if this story is, I don't believe it's true. Because, so if you don't know me, so if you follow me on Facebook, I have about 5,000 friends on Facebook. I have about 7,000 followers. So I was bored yesterday, so I took a sampling of 200 black men. I went from straight to gay, all over, family, people. Out of 200 people, 180 responded to me, right?
Okay.
Not one fucking black man. Even I went to the conservative motherfuckers that live in West Virginia. I know black conservative people that live in West Virginia, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if you are voting along party lines, that is your right. This is America. They're like, no, nigga, not this time, Greg. No, I'm good. I voted for Trump twice. I'm good. And they bring up the thing. I don't believe this thing. I don't believe this thing. I had to go out and do my own unscientific shit. But anyway, in Middle Eastern news, they seem to be escalating and things seem to be getting a little, I don't know, it's a little more quiet. The Gaza is quiet, but Lebanon and Beirut and that shit is ratcheting it up. I tell you, Bibi Netanyahu is the whole problem.
Yeah.
Is the whole problem. In other news this weekend, Bob Woodward dropped a book.
Oh yeah.
And what's that guy that writes those spy thrillers that you like, Malcolm? What's his name?
I don't know the author's names offhand, but are you talking like the Bourne books or
yeah, they make movies.
I don't know the author's name.
Well, Bob Woodward's books are always like that. He always gets people that are in the room to talk to him about this. So he has the generals on the record. They didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to tell you this on the download." No, on the record. General Miller.
Yeah. So like someone told me how like he gets people on the record.
How was this?
He gets a lot of people off the record on background first, right?
Okay.
And so when he wants someone on the record, he tells them, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this. Can you confirm this for me on the record? Because he already knows. By the time he gets somebody on the record, it's like, nigga, don't lie to me.
I love that. I was going doing that.
Because I know all this shit. I know where you were sitting in the room when they told you. Just tell me on the record, okay? Because I'm going to tell you lied to my face if you don't.
So my thing, right, and that is so crazy. So my thing is the joint, and so I understand people, not everybody's into politics like me, but the Joint Chief of Staff is a very important role in the White House, in anybody's cabinet. His Joint Chief of Staff, Four-Star General Mark Milley, called him the F word. Not faggot, but fascist. They called him a goddamn fascist. So, if that doesn't concern you, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of like the reason why I think it's going to turn out like 22, that red wave that never happened. Yeah. I think we know about January 6th. We know what he'll do again. Yeah. We know what he's currently doing because the questions I get all the time. Well, even if we vote for her, can he steal the election? Yes, but you cannot be scared of that. You have to build the protections. It has to be kind of known that she has to win by such an astounding number that he cannot deny. Well, he will deny. I cannot say he cannot. He will deny.
Oh yeah, that is the one thing we can be certain of, that on election night he's going to declare victory. Like,
right,
100%.
We're not going to know. It's going to be election week, y'all. Let me take you back to 2020. The election was Tuesday. CNN didn't declare a winner. Most news outlets did not declare a winner until Saturday. And I woke up like it was fucking Christmas when I seen the projection slide. I wanted to cry. And so this time I'm a little more settled because I don't trust, I'm telling you, I don't trust white people. And they might be out there being white. So If she loses, I'm okay with it. I know I've done everything that I had to do to make sure she wins. So we have a few. Comments over here.
Okay.
What's gonna welcome Red with the two little things at the top? Is that Ruid? I don't know. Welcome to our Indigenous Peoples Day sale. Yes, she's in town. She's in town.
Yeah.
Right. Come buy a mattress, right? I don't know if that was the same. Has the same ring to it. It does not. But should we take people's pain to go buy mattresses? I don't know.
Right.
I want to know what kind of aid you're providing as a militant group that makes you run off FEMA. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're under the false belief, kind of like the Pizza Gate guy who thinks that they're taking people's property. Like people have actually put out conspiracy theories like that. And one of the things I really hate about it is that when, let's say, Republican governors, like the Republican governor of North Carolina, will not name Trump, even though he's the main perpetrator.
Wait, the governor, you mean South Carolina? The governor of North Carolina is a Democrat.
Okay, I don't know where, but I'm just saying, like, mainstream Republican officials will not call out Trump for, you know,
they'll say, "Oh, could you please stop it, sir?"
Yeah, it's like, don't believe everything you hear online, something like that. Like, do your research. Like, you think they are doing their research? Your guy is telling them this bullshit.
So again, it is our job. We did a good job last time, but it is our job to fight misinformation. If you go back to Saturday's show, 12 noon Eastern time on Saturdays, the Saturday sit down with me. I talked about this incident I had in Uber with the Uber driver, and he couldn't say shit. I handled with truth and facts, and I showed him things on my phone. I showed him things, and I was like, dude, you have a family. You can't afford to think like this. You are young. You have a young family. You in danger, Will Robinson. Get your shit together. So just fight the disinformation with facts. When you're in a cult, I think about brainwashed people in the it's akin to Jim Jones. You know how he made them drink the Kool-Aid. It's one of those things. We're gonna look years later to determine that these people were, kind of mentally ill. Think Night Gaming, you not coming on to trigger me today? Is that what you're not doing? Okay, I forgot yesterday was Sunday, friend. My fault.
Were you in a food coma or something?
Well, I realized it was Sunday at 6:30 when I woke up from a sleep coma.
That's good.
Right up at that, we ate too much food. So, friend, if you want to slide in, we got time for you. Come on through. We know you're over there playing the video games, rubbing that belly. So, yeah. So, again, we have about 23 days until Election Day. Well, this is election season. So, the 23 days from now denotes the last day that you can vote. Early voting has started in many, 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 many locales. If you're here in the state of Georgia with Macomb and myself, he's near the southwest part of the state, where it's a lot more red.
Yeah, I'm like a little blue dot in a sea of red.
Now, unlike me, I'm in blue central. And the thing is, but what I do understand from my friends in red areas like yourself, they're seeing a lot of Harris Wall signs. They're seeing a lot of visual, and that's good news when people want to visualize their support. There was a huge rally for Harris Walls this weekend in Florida.
Okay.
And there was a huge rally in the Villages a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Reliably read. Something is happening out there, and it's still, and the polls are not capturing it, and we're not capturing it as a whole.
Yeah,
I think her campaign is. That's why she's pushing forward. Good morning, sir, Alfonso. Afternoon. I struggle with noon. I struggle with noon, friend. I do. I'm going to just put that out there. I really struggle with noon. I don't know whether it's good morning, happy noon, happy afternoon, good afternoon. So don't ask me to say anything as a conjunctual greeting until 1 o'clock. Hi, guys. First time joining you, Gregory. On the Midday Morning Show. See? He struggles as well, taking a vacation day. Thank you.
It might be more than where he is.
Let me be right once. Um, people don't want to pursue the facts because they have to admit themselves just how much they don't actually know. It's humbling. That is something to be said about that. God bless us.
I think it's okay to say you don't know. You know, like it feels like people always have to have an opinion about everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, nah, I hadn't read enough about that, you know.
You know, and I think about this bloody Janet Jackson thing. All I had to say, bro, was, you know, I don't know enough about that to speak on it. That's my whole problem with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you got all my money over the years, records, concerts, shit I didn't need. I let my kids starve one time for a Janet Jackson concert. I can say that now as a mature person. Yeah. Like no, you like, dude, like seriously, if I'm in a place where I know something is controversial, look, now everybody know how I feel about this shit. You know.
Yeah.
Listen.
I was just listening to an interview of Ta-Nehisi Coates about his new book, and you know, he waded into the Israeli-Palestine debate, and he has a very, very cogent argument about it. You know, calling the Israeli state an apartheid state, and he was like,
"That's a very fair fact."
It is, and he was like, "I'm very confident in the accuracy of what I'm saying." And I still, as soon as this book is over, I'm out. You know, like I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I waded into it, I said what I said, and I'm out. You know, it's out because for one, he just felt like this is he wanted to have a piece. The book itself, and I guess it's 3 essays, and one of the essays in the book is specifically about Palestine. And you know, it said what it said, and I think it stirred up a lot of controversy. I haven't read it yet, but just listening to his interview about it is making me want to read it. And
let me know when you start him. We should. We kind of should start.
He's just such a good writer. I mean, this is something that he was saying in his interview. Is that like, when did writers stop caring about like language and the way words sound and the argumentation itself?
I argue at the same time people start caring about truth and facts.
Yeah.
All of that kind of comes into
that's part of the reason I want to read his book, is just because he's just a good writer. Yeah.
Rudd says, I heard she isn't black. I heard we hadn't had a black Jackson born in 20 years. Lady, be quiet.
Oh God, that's funny.
I'm gonna have to say ooh. Yo,
that's the funny thing is, like, I want to defend Janet so badly. I do, but
you cannot.
I know.
You sit like,
keep my mouth shut.
Really, real quick. Swag is a severe fan of Janet Jackson, and even he plays the sad trombone when wah. Yeah, it's just the indefensible. It's the indefensible. And then like, we're not making a statement saying I misspoke. People don't realize the power of saying that.
Right.
Admitting that you made a mistake. Listen, I have made a mistake all over the world. I have fallen. I have dropped stuff. I just spilled coffee on myself this morning when I was entertaining the people. I really did. And the boy was like, "Oh, that was so hot. Bitch, I got coffee in my beard now. All I can smell is McDonald's coffee." Terrible. I apologize to my audience. Kept going.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do is apologize.
Yeah.
And I think so Malcolm, lastly, in my lane over here with the weekend politics, we had rallies and the juxtaposition of the darkness versus the light. What is this? And audience, help me out. Guys, what the fuck is this amnesia? Because in those polls, 40% view President Biden's presidency as negative, but 47% viewed um, Johnny Fitzhugh feud President Trump's former President Trump's as positive. It was a total shit show. You think that's just because of time and distance away from it, or is there something more sinister going on?
No, I think that is just his. Um, there is, I think, there's distance. You're right. I think that does play into it. Like I was saying, I don't think we should compare this election to 2020 because of how close it was to the pandemic and just how
Uh,
fucking nasty it was. Because those same people who voted uh, for Trump, or I don't know, for Biden, you know, my fear is that they will not vote for Kamala, right? Like the people
oh,
who,
they won't. They won't.
yeah,
Not even a fear. They won't.
yeah. And so what Trump is doing right now is solidifying his base with the racism and the immigration shenanigans because it
But
worked, unfortunately.
well, you know what? The
And,
other thing is not working though is
mm,
they think he's gonna lose, so they're talking about. Again, I have to say I have a
mm,
profile as a white female, and I go into right wing spaces. I use it on my other cell
right, but
phone.
you're saying the Republicans think he's going to lose?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
have a
I agree.
profile. I have a profile on um
I think that's why they're coming out so strong, and being so vocal
no.
is because they think he is going to lose.
Well, wait a minute. So let me finish the statement. So they
Mm,
think he's going to lose. So they find it futile to vote. So they're not.
mm,
I'm telling you, like I was on Truth Social, and I was in this group, and they're just it's so hard to watch and listen to racism. But
yeah,
they feel like that they're not going to vote anyway. They're just going to get guns and go wherever they need to go. So I'm not bullshitting, bro.
I can hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So the thing is, she may win. But
Yeah,
it is not. Oh, hear me, America. She may win, but winning is not even half the battle. Okay,
yeah, that's
but
true.
it does not mean that they cannot steal it. Now, I want to sell in this segment, as I always do. Please check your voter registration. It's too late to register in most places at this point, but I'm sure if you watch the show, you are registered. So please check your registration. Make sure it says active in that little box. If it does not, it's not too late to call the registrar's office and find out why is it not. Please find out. Please go vote. Take a friend to the poll. Make it a family exercise. I know here in Atlanta, some of the Divine Nine. I know the sisters of the AKA, the brothers of the Alpha Kappa Alpha. They are doing this thing called flood the polls, and they want to get everybody out to the polls. First day out, make the statement of it is widely known that Democrats vote early, Republicans vote same day, but we want to make the lead so insurmountable that we just keep it up there. So we're gonna 3 weeks to go, Malcolm. 3 Tuesdays from now will be the last day of the election. Any predictions before we go on to?
Trump is going to declare that he won.
That is true. If you have never said anything more true, my friend. All right. So now let's talk about what the wonderful people on my stream want to know is romanticism. First of
So
all, I
I
had
want to ask a question like, how do you define being romantic? What?
that was the question.
Okay.
That's the question. And how because I felt like romance is different between two men.
Right. So, like in general, what do you think it means to be
What do I
romantic?
think? It's sweet gestures, sweet words. You know,
Right. I mean, that's like surface level. I think like on a deeper level. What do you
on a
think it
deeper
means?
level,
Yeah.
like, oh god, you always make me feel so vulnerable and ooey gooey. Having someone know you. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Just into the anticipatory behavior. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like anybody who knows me that for the stroke of God knows I love me a yellow fucking Oreo. I've had a hard day. You show up with a yellow Oreo, you getting some dick. Right now, it's just that I'm an easy hoe. It's just that easy. But hold on 1 second before we go. Who is following the Jacksons on voting? Voting advice. Yes, she shouldn't have answered any political questions, but who really cares? What does she think?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm glad that people haven't made a huge thing out of it.
Yeah, but it's because she has an audience. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
she the last bitch that should win. And we all like, I can't fucking believe she said that.
Yeah.
People don't realize the prosperity they experienced in Trump's 4 years are due to 8 years of Obama, and anything he'll do the expression. Obama said it, and Obama's going to keep saying it. And from the Trump decision. So I was telling, I don't know if we were on air, it all blurs, or off air. I was telling Malcolm, and that's what I call him on Mondays, y'all, Malcolm. So I was telling him before we hit the air, this is the poll of that week of the severe disinformation. I often think, I pray or think that next week will be a little different. We'll be back to Obama's on the trail and she's doing what needs to be done. Johnny Fitzhugh, Trump gets a pass on COVID, but Biden gets all the negatives associated with getting us out of this mess of the pandemic left behind. Tough choices had to be made, and people still feel that.
Yeah.
Can somebody please tell me how do we combat that despite the better economy? Yeah. Like, romance is surface. Oh, Johnny, really? You don't think it's that innate knowing of someone and like anticipating needs?
Let me say what I think about it. Getting back to the topic, I feel that. Oh, here comes Devon.
Don't come up here now with your pretty beard, and your sexy lips.
So we're talking about what romance is, Devon.
I know. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, let me
listen.
Let me do my jitsu and get on up here."
You got a new sofa, friend?
Oh, yeah, I got a new sofa.
Hey, I like it. Me too, friend. Look, me too.
So Greg was saying, it's like nice gestures, things like that on a surface level. On a deeper level, I think it really is about emotions, right? It's about a feeling and how to pull those feelings out of someone. Like you were saying, like if it's gestures that are what I would say are symbolic, right? It's not really about the cookie. It's about how you know that person feels about the cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Or, and so what I have often said to Greg and like challenged him on his romanticism is the idea that, emotions and logic can sometimes be in opposition to one another. And the way that I guess you could call someone a hopeless romantic is when there are some clear red flags and signs that someone is not right for you or that they have problems, and you allow the feelings to override your logic, And so, you're not a hopeless romantic, but you're a romantic because you're someone who allows those things to be in balance, right? Like you like the feelings, you like the gestures, the symbolic nature of, doing for someone.
Yeah.
But you don't allow that to override any sort of like clear, violations of your boundaries or of common sense. Say, for instance, the person who wrote you on several occasions about, bringing prisoners into their home after, like that's a hopeless romantic.
You remember that thing? You remember that person?
Yeah, I also seen the video of a lady who did so. There's a video on YouTube of several ladies doing that, letting like they pen pal prisoners back and forth, and they actually allowed them to like move in and live with them and stuff, or take them on a date and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen that too. I mean, look. I say it like this. Everybody needs love and a level of romance somewhere. Everybody needs love. I'm just hoping that when it comes to love, over the years that we grow and experience and learn, that you don't get blinded. You don't get like you don't have the rose-colored glasses on when it comes to love. Now I know everybody goes through a honeymoon phase, and that's actually a good feeling.
Important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. But at the end of the phase, you gotta take off the honeymoon part and be like, okay, can I deal with this person on a more ongoing basis? Like I've
Yeah.
seen them in all these seasons. I've seen them do this. I've seen them get angry, get this, that, and the third. And is this something I can actually deal with?
Yeah. You
So
have to
let
deal
me
with like the practical day to day
practical
aspects
thing.
as
Yeah.
well.
Malcolm, I remember you telling a story of
Mm.
how you went to dinner with somebody, and that just changed your whole outlook on this person,
Yeah.
of how they treated the waiter and how this thing. And then you also gave an instance a long time ago when somebody had a flat tire and how they went about getting that tire changed.
Yeah. It was about the fact that
Yeah.
we were in the middle of the highway, and I get that. Like your car breaks down. It's raining.
Mm.
There are people driving real fast around you, and he got real bitch made real quick. I'm just like, so, he had this sort of facade on that just went away, and all you could do is complain and I'm just like,
Well, did you give him a cream dick? Like, were you like, girl?
I think it definitely changed every other interaction from then on. Like we didn't immediately break up or anything.
Oh my God, we are bringing out the people today.
You romantic fools.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with some romance, Jay. How you doing, Mr.
Wait a minute.
Martin?
I know he was busy. I just talked to him yesterday. Listen, we want to start off by saying happy belated birthday, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yesterday. Now, Thick, finish answering the question that Malcolm asked first of all. Were you done?
I mean, which question was that? I thought we were done with
Yeah,
that.
I think
we were done. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
Well, just on the romance thing. Romance, when I say it's surface level, it is the things you do for your partner, someone you're interested in, that lets you know that you're interested and caring for them.
Uh-huh.
So it's the things that the person can see.
Mm-hmm.
Your deep feelings for them or whatever else, they might not always see that all the time, and the things that you do might be in the background. So yeah, we need the surface level, but that's not all there is to it. And if you're not getting the warm, fuzzy feelings that makes you feel that person is romantically inclined to you, either bring it up and let them know or move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's also kind of like a skill too. I think some people are just good at sussing out the things that will trigger those feelings. They're in tune. They're emotionally aware of themselves, but also of other people, and that doesn't necessarily make it genuine. I should say that.
As a Libra, let me say, we have a reputation for being what many people think flirty or overly nice. I think we're just more attuned to wanting harmony and all that other stuff. So we seek out those things and kind of help any type of relationship along. So that's where I agree with you. It's not necessarily, if you see someone romancing you, it might not necessarily meaning that they are having deep feelings for you.
Yeah.
They just might be wanting you to have a good day.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what that is? So I get that. And I just got that like 20 seconds ago when you said it. Because people I do like that romantic feeling. And it doesn't always have to be connected to sex or dating.
No, it doesn't.
No. You agree?
I mean, but I mean, I think sometimes too, some people will feel like, well, I can only be romantic to someone I'm interested in because I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my energy on someone who's not gonna appreciate it or be grateful. But like you said, like if you just want to do something randomly nice for somebody, that's not being romantic. That's just you thinking of them and being like, hey, I know you in a bad mood, So I bought you this, or I did this for you, XYZ. Now, if it's somebody you're romantically interested in, that's completely different because your intention or your motive for doing it is coming from a different place.
But it's only romantic. It's in the
I was gonna say it's in the same skill set. Right?
Oh, okay. Well,
it's in the romantic diaspora.
okay.
Meaning, I think those of us who are romantics, we are super kind to our friends and our family.
Right.
And I think that, Jay, that is a very good thing. Like, I remember one time Malcolm went through this wine phase. It's like every show, Jay, y'all, he was drinking wine. And so I was like,
so what was he? What was he? Olivia Pope?
Yeah.
Next Bordeaux.
What did I do?
I think it was Moscato.
Yeah. So my friend said,
that's not why.
My friend ain't feel like going to the store, so I sent him a box of fucking wine. And that made both of us very happy. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's things like that. Or I sent when Thick first moved, I sent Thick some lunch. He was stressed the fuck out. Remember that day? He was stressed. I said, "What you want, bro?" He was so stressed out. And he was like, "Oh, I can't find no plates. I can't find no pots. I am just out of it." And I think it's just you want, and I kind of live with that feeling inside of me. Like this, it sounds sappy now that I think about it. What the hell? But I live with this feeling, Malcolm, that I just want everybody around me to be happy and adjusted. You know what I mean? And that kind of gives me that feeling about life.
I think there is a genuine plus side to, I guess, altruism, like when you help someone else feel better, living in the glow of that. And so like people, you can be cynical about it and say that you're doing it for your own purposes, but everybody does things because that's what they want to do. And so why you want to do it is a whole other issue. But good.
I agree with what you brought up too, Malcolm. And some people just don't naturally have either the inclination or the ability to think about what's going to make the other person just happy or feel good for that day or whatever else. There's some people that just,
and we talked about that. It's a kind of basic. It's one of those like Freudian, but kind of not things of like the way that you were shown love when you were a child. Some people just don't have that as a part of who they are. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because there are other people who are like that as well. Like some people are very practical and very utilitarian, you could say, and they probably need someone like that. So, find the person, don't try to make square pegs fit in round holes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now, to answer back to when we were first to talk I did have to learn that there were boundaries in my romanticism. So when I was younger, unfortunately, I did describe myself as a hopeless romantic. And then I saw a therapist, and that nigga was like, "Oh, whoa, you don't want that over there. You don't want none of that." And I was like, "Why? It's so wonderful." And what it is, and all this other stuff. But no, he was like, "Because what you're inviting." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, not that there's anything wrong with it. He says, you are saying to another person, you are willing to do whatever, whenever, however, to keep this feeling going. And that makes you an addict, not a hopeless romantic. I was like, well, gee, thanks, motherfucker. I just can't believe I just paid for this.
The funny thing is, I was listening to this podcast. He was a former alcoholic, and I think he's like a marathon runner now. And he was just saying, like, you could even see good habits as a form of addiction. Like everything is on this sort of addiction spectrum.
Yeah.
And part of like wanting to get it in shape or healthy is to kind of get addicted to the feeling of going to the gym or get addicted to the positive feelings that you get from doing good things, And so, like you can get addicted to love. And I would say we talked about the pick-me girls. They are definitely love addicts. They are definitely dick addicts, whatever it may be. Though.
Not dick addicts.
You know what I'm saying?
But they are.
It's not just about the physical dick for them. It's like this dude is mind dick kind of addict. And so they will allow themselves.
What it is
going down a slippery slope, y'all. I love it.
Right, this dude is digging in my hole so well. It feel like it is mine, but you gotta realize that it's not because it just unless y'all are dating, he's a rental baby. He's not yours. He's just there for the moment.
But yeah, like some people need to have that idea of ownership of someone in order to.
Now, my old age has taught me that romanticism, you can have it in many different scenarios. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to be in a and I cannot believe I'm about to say this. Oh God, I'm going to regret this. It doesn't even have to come in a monogamous sense. Monogamy does not always equate to romanticism. I know people in spaces where polygamy, not polygamy, that's the legal term. Non-monogamy, thank you, is okay. And they've learned to thrive in those spaces and love and unfortunately, I have experience where you can love more than one person at a time. Mm-hmm. You really can. But do I believe in this particular thing? I do not. So let me just clarify that.
Yeah. What do you mean you don't believe in it?
What? Not
non-monogamy.
Non-monogamy. I just, not as a person. I don't. I don't I respect it and I know where it comes from, and I know that But
you're saying you couldn't live with it or in that type of relationship? Well, I'm just. What are you meaning by you don't believe in it? Like you don't believe people actually do love other people?
No. I believe in that part of it. I believe you are perfectly able to love more than one person at one time. That is absolutely true. But it's just not in my belief system that's for me.
Okay, good.
I don't say, but that's a far cry from where I came because I used to get on my soapbox, but now I've come to understand doing this show and doing other things, and people, that is a real thing that you can, and you love your friends differently. You love, everybody is not your bestie, or and you have different levels of love, and I've through interviewing people and understanding people, even through this show, we've interviewed people that were in non-monogamous situations, and I know people personally, not putting their business in the street. Oh, I can say, yes, my friend John is non-monogamous. I didn't want to put your business in the street, friend.
I was the whole thing about being non-monogamous is you don't hide it.
Well, no, it's not my business to tell your business. You know what I mean? I just want
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm not gonna, but you have made me understand that through talks that excuse me, it is not necessarily. Go ahead.
Because I also think that some people feel like when you bring up relationship to the non-monogamous, it's all about sex, and you just want to be sluts and whores. But and I'm like, I even had to tell people like, no, that's not what that is. It's not what it's about. Y'all make it. That's what it's about because from y'all's perspective, and I get that people have been raised to be monogamous. Like you go out there, you find your soulmate, you find your husband, your wife, and that's your one and only, and all this other stuff. And I get it from that perspective. And I always ask people,
"Damn, you make it sound so dry, homie. Yikes!"
But I'll tell you this: another reason that people are so down on non-monogamy is because people will use non-monogamy as a way to audition their new boyfriend.
Sluts, right?
Thank you. That right.
Well, it's just like I really don't want to be in this relationship. But I don't want to leave the security of being in this relationship, so I'm going to actually kind of be 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
That's not the same. Yeah, that's not the same as someone who has established a long-term committed relationship, and for whatever reason, maybe their sexual connection is not as strong as it was, or there's a misalignment in their sexual values, and so they want to be able to get that with someone, and they already have established a certain amount of trust with this person that allows them to explore in a safe manner. And I think it's different for different people because some people just don't feel this sense of ownership over someone else, like that, for their need for security. And I think we should we should honor that if you need that. I think it is a fantasy. Don't get me wrong, because at any point that person might leave you because you don't own anyone. But whether you're monogamous or not, right? Like
have you ever had, or do you have a sense of ownership over someone? I didn't understand that term.
Yeah, so like people will use it colloquially, like that's my man, that's my boyfriend, that's my husband,
Right.
or whatever. I mean, I know that's not in a sense, literal, but at the same time, I do think that, when you talk about monogamy in a sense, let's say, for instance, you make a monogamous commitment to someone, and for some reason you're not feeling right, maybe you're sick or you're just not feeling the sexual connection, and they will feel like that means that your sexual life has ended as well, just because mine has, or that what's going on in my life is going to naturally dictate what's going on in yours sexually. And that is kind of like saying, like, I have ownership of your sexuality, I have ownership of what you do, and that's okay. Like, and I would say it's not necessarily real. It's like a story that the two of you tell with each other, because so often people say that they're going to do that and they don't, or they don't even really have the true capacity to do that, because of course they're attracted. Just because you're together doesn't mean they're not attracted to other people. They are simply refraining from, engaging in sexual contact with other people for the sake of the relationship.
Now, I can tell you at this ripe age, a half of 100, more than half of 100, I really think that sleeping with somebody else, I don't necessarily believe in non-monogamy, but sleeping with someone else is not a deal breaker. Like, I could care less, but I won't give you the permission structure to do it. But
right.
I am more apt to stay. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
right. So let me ask you this, because I remember, I think JJ brought this up in one of them, which is,
let me read this comment right quick.
Okay.
Romance for me, RUD says, romance for me is care in action. How much thought you have put into showing your affection for me. I think that's kind of where I am on that. Dick is like crack in the 80s. I will say, wow. Wow. Wow.
Dead.
Okay. What exactly did he mean?
Yeah, the scourge on the black community. Dick is a scourge.
Oh my God.
Not a scourge.
Right. I'm like,
like
it's just crazy. Go ahead, Marco.
One of these calls that I did on Wednesday, JJ brought up the idea that he would not give someone else the idea. He feels like saying to someone that I could forgive you for infidelity is almost inviting them to partake in it.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, sort of like saying, you're just going to ask for forgiveness instead of ask for permission. Like, if you know that your partner would forgive you, you're just going to fucking, ask for forgiveness, because it kind of is. It's kind of like a laissez-faire permission structure. Even if you say, like, I'm gonna fuck around. I think he had this sort of hard stance, like, I'm leaving you so that you don't cheat on me.
Jay over here got furrowed eyebrows. My brother, like,
I don't know if he might want to defend that. That was me.
Wow, man, go ahead with that face. What you got to say, Jay? Go ahead.
I think that you can't think of a monogamous relationship as the same as an open relationship. In a open relationship, cheating, as far as what you're meaning as sexual infidelity, it doesn't exist. So
cheating,
if someone says they are in a monogamous relationship, or they want to be in a monogamous relationship, but one of those partners doesn't feel that way, then it's not a monogamous relationship.
You just think it is.
Yeah, one person thinks it is, the other person's doing whatever they want to do. So they're not the same. They're not, I don't want to say equivalents, because the relationship is their own relationship, but they can't be compared in the same way. If you are having a monogamous relationship, then you and your partner have agreed to that and you're going forward. And then there is the possibility of cheating. There is a possibility of infidelity.
Yeah, so that's what we were saying in this scenario, was that they were initially in monogamous relationship. But there was a caveat. This woman basically was calling in because she had been cheated on, right? And the caveat in her relationship was, if you ever want to renegotiate the terms of our relationship, you can come to me, and we can negotiate some sort of openness.
I don't think anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't either. But I think John was like, by saying that, you're almost welcoming this person to cheat on you, because
it's not cheating if you have an agreement. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying they didn't have an agreement. They didn't. He didn't have the balls to actually come to her, and stay.
That's another
issue.
issue.
Renegotiate, yeah.
Yo,
he did the cheating, and he knew.
Well, it's not for everyone. Wicked Fresh Media. It's not for everybody. This is, you have to. This is the thing too. When it
hold
comes
on, just for those who are listening and not watching, let's read what he says. And then we have lots of people listening and not.
Oh, okay.
Wicked Fresh Media Group says, I've tried non-monogamy and I will never try it again. I have too. I ain't gonna say never, but go ahead, Devon. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, but yeah, it's not for everybody. And my thing is too, when people talk about what kind of relationship they want, they have to also be honest with themselves. Because you have a lot of people out here saying, I want monogamy, and I've known people who have been in monogamous relationships and they've preached it to the highest of heavens, and they still got and cheat. So I'm like, so technically you didn't want it. I mean,
they wanted the idea of it.
And you wanted the idea of it, but you're not acting on the idea of what you said.
Yeah.
Because
I would say that I wouldn't. Okay, first of all, I don't think either is better than the other, right? Or it is more suited to some people than others, right? Monogamy does give you the sense of security that non-monogamy won't, in the sense that if you're monogamous or non-monogamous, there is a fear that your partner may fall out of love with you and find someone else to start a new relationship. I mean, that's just if you have any sort of like sense.
That's an Usher song. It is.
And I think in a non-monogamous relationship, they have more opportunities to meet that other person, right? So
that is because that has been my experience, Michael. When I did try the thing.
On the other hand, a monogamous relationship can feel like you're under fucking surveillance by the CIA. Like you're going through the phone and you're like, who are you talking to? Who's this bitch?
Pretty much. I mean,
you just made the weekly rerun. I was gonna play that clip.
Who's this? Is you a wiki face?
Who's this?
Wiki face.
Covered at you like homegirl on Friday. Who would you go to the concert with last night? Because my baby cousin Tracy told me you was all up at the concert and hooked up on some bitch. Now tell me who she was.
Either relationship models have its issues. I'm just saying, but the issues, need to fit the personalities of the people involved. That's all.
So, because the time is what the time is, join Malcolm Wednesday at 7 p.m.
I got all my topics. I didn't do any of them.
Good.
So and that's good because I didn't have shit. I came here. I did my podcast, and I have some videos, but I had nothing to say about any of them. So.
Right. So
I had some time to work on it for Wednesday.
So Wednesday we'll pick up these mental health topics that he loves so dearly, and that I got caught up in this morning because it was
and I got some on relationships and attraction, and actually one on flirting in a relationship. So
it goes hand in hand. So Wednesday, Malcolm the Philosopher King, the best Afro in the business, and you can join Mr. Fitzhugh and I with this 23 days and this goddamn election left. They trying to trigger me. I'm cussing, throwing shoes at my TV. It's on Patreon for a few minutes at www.patreon.com/MailMediaMind. Become a paid member. Get access to exclusive content through Telegram. Is it Telegram?
Yeah. Yes, we have 3 Telegram groups. We have a Discord. We got a
Discord group.
early podcast released.
And I tell you, in that Telegram group, I don't know how he finds the time, but you know,
so what happened? What had happened was I will find like some dude in some video, right? And I will just Google them and I'll just see what I can find. And so there's this one dude, I can't remember his name, he's a Brazilian guy, but he kind of looks, called him Sexy Cleon. He has this really sloped forehead. I don't know what it is, you know, and he's speaking in Portuguese, so I don't know what he's saying. So I went and found like maybe 20 videos. And I find it really fascinating. Like I had no idea what they're saying or doing in these pornos, you know, because they're not speaking English. And I'm like, I don't know why that like makes it better, because you know, usually if they do any sort of like scene in a porn, it's horrible, right? Like it's just
because sometimes the dialogue in porn is horrible. It
is so horrible. So like you exit what they're saying and you can only go based on their gestures and their actions, and it's so much better. Like if you don't know what they're saying, you can fill in the rest of your mind.
See, this is why I disagree. I need plot. I need to know.
Oh no, it's great. No, you get the plot. It's all there visually. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So one person, he's chopping up pineapple. He's got some mangoes. He's got some watermelon. He's carrying it. The guy drops it. He's picking up the watermelons and mangoes and sees the dip.
Like he'll bend down to pick up something, and he'll notice the bowl or rub up against it accidentally, and it goes from there. That's
exactly. You got full story, no need for dialogue. It's great.
Y'all like porn interpreters. I don't know why.
And this is what's bad though. ChatGPT can translate for you in real time if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that. I can just have my phone say like, "Please translate this."
Because the translation may turn you off too. So
ChatGPT be like, "Oh, fuck me."
It is true. I kind of did want to know what they were saying though, so I did use ChatGPT.
Like you downloaded this one where the one person on the park bench quickly turned to 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what park are they in? And they got they young. They can just like full naked, Jay, on whatever dock this is, and like they are going to town on this one dude. You know, he is just. But you know, you could tell one of the dudes was into anal and one of the dudes were not. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't into.
Yeah, I think I saw another one where one of my favorite Brazilian dudes was getting fucked by. You were talking about tree climbing. He had like a 5-foot dude fucking like a 6-foot dude, and it was super hot. It was, he was going.
You like to see niggas on their tiptoes.
I mean, you could use pedestals and shit. He got up on the top of the bathtub like they were fucking in the bathroom. You know, he stood on like the edge of the tub and fucked him like that.
Little guys have so much tenacity. Go, little fella. I like it. It's like a little rabbit.
I mean, he was a hot little rabbit. Oh my god!
You know, and then you could tell. And then you could tell when the porn was made because whether they have on condoms or not. So
yeah,
condoms are 80-90 situation.
Well, that's an issue too. Like I think the Brazilian porn, they tend to use condoms more, although not as much. I mean, but more than the United States, they do.
How do we feel about that? Do you turn it off when you see the? Because I know I have a friend that turns it off.
There are a lot of people who do that. They'll be like, if I see a condom, I'm getting turned off, and I'm going to turn by something else because I can't do condoms. And I just be, and yeah, I've heard people say that a lot. They can't do condoms porn.
The Sexy Cleon, he uses condoms in every scene, and he's hot, so I don't care. And he also actually kind of sexualizes putting on the condom. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know. So like I think in one scene he used like 4 different condoms. So like he'll go through like a whole roll.
4 different?
Well, he'll fuck him, then he'll take it off, have him suck
it. Let me tell you, if you're having more than one partner, you should change condoms.
Yeah, definitely.
That's public service announcement, America.
Yeah,
change your goddamn condoms for real. Jay, real quick, because I haven't. You were off doing birthday shenanigans this weekend. Where are you with the state of the race? How you feeling? What's your?
My gut is telling me that we've kind of like have a silent majority.
Yeah.
Just going to go into that voting booth, vote,
For
go
her.
out, ain't talking to anybody,
Yeah.
and that they're more for Harris.
I think that's where we all are. I think you can feel a palpable I'm sick of this shit. You know what I mean? I guess that's the best way to put it.
I'm actually inclined to agree with you, and I think it's like, at what point will Trump actually turn off his own people? You know, because in public, they're not. You know, a lot of these people, like you were saying in Woodward's book, who called him a fascist in private, haven't even come out in favor of Harris. Like, why would you call him a fascist, you know, to a reporter, but not support Harris? I don't get that.
Yeah. And like, where George Bush ain't running for nothing else anymore. Where the fuck
where is he? Yeah. They kind of want to, or where's Mitt Romney? Right?
Yeah.
Where's
he's about to retire? Where is Mitt Romney?
Yeah, he's on his way to retirement. And the funny thing is, we need him for the Mormons in Arizona. Like, they need someone to help in that area. There's a lot of Mormons there.
Yeah, but and then the thing this still does not get me as a Catholic. This does not get me. I don't understand evangelical. I don't. That don't even make any sense anymore. My dude, like, the tenets of Christ in the Bible says that this man is the Antichrist. You know what I mean? Like, where are you? What? Oh, you must be reading the Trump Bible. I think he changed some of the words in the Bible. I don't know.
You heard about? We didn't talk about that in the Oklahoma City school, or not Oklahoma City, but Oklahoma State schools.
Yeah, they wanted to buy Trump Bibles. Yeah,
they made the requirements such that there were only Trump Bibles and maybe one other type of Bible that you could purchase. Of course, they're going to purchase Trump Bibles. 55,000 of them, by the way,
at $65 a piece. And I cannot wait till we can look back on this in hindsight and like, what the F? I cannot wait. I just cannot wait when somebody's child comes home and says, "Mommy, Daddy, Granddaddy, Grandmama, what did you do when all this foolish?" I cannot wait for that moment because
I tell you what, I feel like in the future, 20 years from now, like, finding a "Make America Great Again" hat would be like finding someone's Klan's robes in the closet, you know. So, oh my God, you were a fucking Trump supporter.
Yeah, because, the thing that gets me, because like my grandson just turned 8, the oldest one, and he'll be like, even he knows that the shit is wrong. He's like, "That's great, it's gross." Literally the 8-year-old Jay is like, he's not nice to people.
They're gonna try to pretend like it didn't happen. They're gonna move on.
Here's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Tanya Chuckin and Jack Smith will not let. They don't. I think I'm almost certain at this point they don't care if they go to court or not. They just don't want to let it die. You know what I mean? They just like, look at what these motherfuckers are trying to do to you. I think we're at that level. I think it'll probably go to court sometime in 25, 26. But whatever, I think we're at the point that they just want to remind motherfuckers that in the 250 years of this government, he tried to stop the peaceful, and I think that's a bridge too far. Good on who was he interviewing with? Vance. She asked him 7 times.
Oh, right.
He said, "No, Senator." And she just kept going. So, good on her. I don't know. I don't know.
The funny thing is, Vance doesn't have a problem saying those things in private, or not even in private, just amongst his own followers and things. And, even in front of people on stage, he'll just say that Trump won, or,
he knows what happens. I was right. I went to lunch the other day and I was riding through an affluent part, a very Republican part of Atlanta. There's a very rich, affluent part of Atlanta. And I was so shocked to see so many Harris Wall signs. Like, the people that live across the street from the governor have Harris Wall signs. Like, over in Buckhead, they have like these big ass mansions that are right beside the governor's house. And he's about 2 or 3. And I had my friend, I'm like, "Go back. around. Wait. And he was like, no, nigga, I'm hungry. I'm not going back. I was like, please, right, please. So he went back around and I counted 3 or 4 houses in front, and that's probably never heard of because if you live beside the governor's mansion, you got a certain amount of money. Yeah. And we know what that denotes. And then the other thing is here in Atlanta, I think it's a little different. We have shit tons of black people with a lot of money. You know what I mean? So black people with money is not that far off thing. So I have a good friend of mine who's well off. God bless her. And she was like, no, none of my wealthy people friends are saying not even the white ones, because there's the tax cuts ain't worth all the other shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's not worth it. So watch this space. Let's just see. Let's talk about Devon. Where you get that couch from? That's what I want to know. It's nice. You're watching the whole shop and stalking your couch. I'm like,
I have to ask them where they got it from because I didn't actually pick it out.
Oh, they bought you a new one because your house flooded.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Fuck you. I'm gonna go over like Rick James. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch.
Is that a Vance joke? What's up?
Huh?
Is that a Vance joke? What's up?
Oh.
Yeah, fuck your couch. No, Dave Chappelle. It's a Dave Chappelle. Have you seen Dave Chappelle? Please go watch this episode. So Dave Chappelle has a long-running thing with Rick James. And it starts with, he said he met Rick James one night at a party. He said, Dave Chappelle. and he meets Eddie Murphy. Dave Chappelle meets Eddie Murphy, Rick James, and his brother, Charlie Murphy. So Dave Chappelle says, he goes up to Charlie Murphy and says, darkness. So he calls him darkness. And then he goes up to Dave Chappelle. He says, Dave Chappelle, what did the face say to the hand? He said, I don't know, Mr. James. What did he say? Slap. And he slapped this child. So Dave Chappelle said he went on with it. So Rick was all high. He had a whole bunch of bitches. So Dave Chappelle, he says, as a matter of comedy, I invited Rick James back to my house to party because he said this was going to be a lot of material. I knew it. I just knew it. I knew it. So he said when he invited Rick James back to his apartment, he said, Rick, I just got a brand new $17,000 couch. He said Rick James went to the bathroom, got high, with his high heel boots on, and went and stood at his couch. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch. He went stomping holes in Dave Chappelle's new couch. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch. Oh my God. So you haven't seen like Tyrone Bigsby, any of those clips? Oh my God. Okay, Tyrone Bigsby is the black Klansman that's blind. And they ask him, and somebody tells him he's black at the end of all of this, right? He's like, fuck niggas and all that stuff. So Tyrone Bigsby, so he says, Tyrone, why'd you divorce your wife? White woman. She was a nigga lover. It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's when Dave Chappelle was absent and it's most cutting and funny. But he jumps like, fuck you.
Never been a fan of Dave Chappelle. I tried watching it, just don't
hit me. Watching it was that you got to pick some of the shit out. Like that skit with him and Wayne Brady. Oh
yeah, Wayne Brady got real black. Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh God, Wayne Brady.
Yeah, when they were trying to prove Wayne Brady was black. So Wayne Brady did a carjacking.
Oh yeah, they were basically basing it off of like Training Day or something. But Wayne Brady.
It was Wayne Brady. Get out the competition, Wayne Brady, right? So, and that's what makes Wayne Brady.
Oh God, that was hilarious. Yeah, that was good.
And speaking of Wayne Brady, I'm trying to
Nicodemus.
Yeah, I think that's a generational thing. I think Generation X, and that was it. I don't understand his comedy anymore. It's very
yeah, that's true.
I don't know what it's meant to be, but I don't know. But I tell you what, speaking of comedy, SNL is firing on all cylinders this season.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I didn't quite finish watching this week's episode. But I tell you, Maya Rudolph is a comedy legend. God bless her.
She's good.
And
And, I love her. She's a huge Prince fan, so I'm definitely down with her.
yeah, and she's doing her mother proud, I'm sure.
She is. She is, and we forget who her mother is.
Minnie Riperton.
I know, but I'm saying we forget who her mother is. Like,
Yeah.
and I always kiss her when she tried to sing. So I'd be like, oh,
We got that note. Not quite.
we're gonna give her a pass. I saw her in her little I shouldn't say little, but her and her little she's in a Prince cover band, and they played at the Hollywood. I went out to the Hollywood Bowl one night, Fitzhugh.
Right.
Who I was drunk. I was reeking of alcohol. Just reeking. I don't know what. Yeah, I know. I was young. This was 30-year-old Greg drunk.
Oh, okay.
Out in LA at the Hollywood Bowl. And so, they came on. Prince was still living at the time. So they did Let's Go Crazy. So something in my drunk mind says, Greg, stand up and boo them.
No, Greg, no.
Yeah, stand up and boo Maya Rudolph. Yeah.
What?
I was maybe like 40. I wasn't 30 because it was a few years ago. Yeah, it was like, boo Maya Rudolph, bitch. This is gonna go over well. You can do it. You
can get away with it. No.
You can
okay.
You this is your shit. Like you like stand up and fucking boo Maya Rudolph. The world will love you. No, you know who didn't love me? The goddamn security officer.
Ah.
This motherfucker was like, sir. I was like, he was like, I was like, I ain't doing shit, nigga. I'm just, y'all are fucking with my constitution. I can't even boo a bitch. It was yeah, but she's really not like she's a really talented comedian. Do we say comedian anymore, or do you just say comedian?
I don't
know. Jay, is that what's out in the zeitgeist? Do we say comedian anymore, or do we just say comedian?
I don't think anyone that really cares is going to.
I don't know, because I'm fucking up this transgender shit. I tell you that much.
Well, actresses lost favor. We generally say actor.
Yeah. Right.
But comedian.
Okay.
Is there a difference between comedian and is there like
supposed to be the female, kind of like actress would be?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And honestly could never tell the difference. That's the reason why it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So when we watch the Emmys, it's like best female actor. Is that what they say?
I believe so now.
Yeah.
I thought female was kind of like a bad thing to say because of how they'll say people prefer to say woman than to say female because for some reason female makes it seem like you're being misogynistic or you're being
I think that's only when you're talking about a specific person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you don't say this female over here, you say this woman. But if you were talking about a category of people, you say female.
Because as the HR, I'm still confused. I have to take classes on this shit, and so to get around it, I just ask people their names.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't
pronounce too much anymore.
Yeah. So and my boss was like, Greg, you ain't slick. We were in a meeting the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, apparently I am, motherfucker." Because I tell you what, they're not going to
just use they for everybody. I mean,
no, not even that. I'm like, what should I be like? It's clearly a man with a beard. And like, my name is Gina. Okay, well, Gina, what? Then if it's like the bearded lady situation, I'm like, what are your pronouns? Mm-hmm. But if they look and present a certain way, they tell me something else. I'm like, all right, well, this motherfucker. Now I do have that situation. One of the therapists clearly is a man, but he had fingernails and stuff, and so this is Georgia still. You know what I mean? Like this is people don't realize once you leave Atlanta, it's still Georgia.
Yeah.
And and the patients are like, hey, sir, what was that? you know, they call the 800 number, the 800 number, and I'm the dude on the other side of the 1-800 complaint number. I'm like, hey, thanks for complaining. Can I help you? I was saying, it's all good. I want to complain. They're like, what was that? Like, there was some dude with the fingernails in here, and he wanted to give my mom some physical therapy, and I said no. I said, sir, that is your right. You got to get that tone right. Sir, that is your right to deny therapy. But we here at
however,
would you like for us to schedule your mom with someone else? Hell yes. It's someone that is the gender that their name is. I was like, well, there you have it, bitch. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Hey, y'all niggas is off the hook. It's one of those things that it's really crazy. Like, living in Atlanta, it's the Wild Wild West in a 30-mile radius. But once you leave, Malcolm, you know this. You live in the southwestern part of the state. It's Atlanta. It's Georgia.
Yeah.
It's here in utter Georgia. And the fact that we have a black senator and a Jewish senator is nothing short of amazing. Like, I think she did the really right thing when she went and got Quentin Folks, the guy who won for Senator Warnock and Ossoff. They sharing this one dude. And the first thing he did, Jay Fitz, was take her to southern Georgia. The first thing he did was take her ass right down there outside of Savannah, Macon, Valdosta, down there to Malcolm Land. I call it Malcolm Land. And she came here a few times to keep us happy. But what you do is you run up you don't expect to win. You just kind of keep him from winning as much as he did before, and you run it up in the places that you run it up, and I think that's how she's going to win. I remember again being in my Republican spaces, the white female I pretend to be on white social, so I can get into their spaces, and they're like, oh, Trump has 300 campaign offices across 7 states. I was like, this bitch got 35 offices in Pennsylvania alone. You know what I'm saying? She has 50 and others, like, wow, y'all yell about 300. This bitch got 300 in Arizona. And so when you can't convince somebody, you send somebody to the door and you talk to them in person. You know what I mean? Or you call their house at home, and when they're by themselves, you make them think about when they go in that booth and like, hey, this motherfucker says he has already taken this away from you. This is next, and this is next, regardless of whether you are, because that is a speech that we give. You may not be affected by abortion, but if you have a daughter, if you have a granddaughter, if you have a neighbor, if you had a teacher that you ever liked, if you know somebody 40 and under, they are affected by this, and you think they're going to stop at abortion? No, they want all women's rights. They want all minorities' rights. So when is it over? They haven't conceded 2020 yet. We're 4 years beyond it. What do you think is next? And that has people thinking. It may not be reflected in the polls, which, Jay, I was telling Malcolm, I said, we think about 2022, this ginormous red wave that never materialized. I don't know.
Dobbs came down right as that was happening.
Yeah, but we haven't forgotten because trust me, you live in Georgia. Every other commercial is, hey, he took abortion away. Hey, all right. With that note, let's go ahead and end Patreon and stay put. Move so we can use the footage.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.